How can you run when you don't know the way of the Spirit?
Seeing miracles doesn't mean you will see in the Spirit. Even hearing the voice of God doesn't mean you're seeing in the Spirit. But those two, Caleb and Joshua, they saw in the Spirit. You see the difference? So, the 10 spies said, well, we saw the giants, and in their eyes, we were all grasshoppers. Never forget this. The way you see yourself is the way the devil sees you. Say that. The way I see myself is the way the devil sees. Say it. The way I see myself is the way the devil sees me. Because they saw themselves as grasshoppers. Because it says, we were grasshoppers in our sight and in their sight. We were grasshoppers in our sight and their sight. The way we saw ourselves, the enemy saw us. And that's not living in the Spirit and walking in the Spirit. But then Caleb and Joshua said, no. We'll eat them for lunch. We're going to eat those giants for lunch. They are only our bread. That's what they said. What are you afraid of? Our God is mightier. Our God is bigger. They are only our lunch and breakfast and dinner. Let's go possess the land. They saw in the Spirit. Today, if you don't walk and see in the Spirit in this dark hour, you won't survive the future. So it's time you get living in the new creation you're in. The new world of the Spirit you're in. Get out of the old life and get into the new. And God's people said, our faith overcomes the world. Say it. Say it. Say it. I'm flying from Tokyo to Hawaii, and we got lost 300 miles over the Pacific Ocean. That happened to me. We left on a private plane from Tokyo. At the time, the planes did not have satellite navigation. They had systems that were connected to the ground, not satellites, like today. All 4 navigational systems on that Gulfstream 4 went out. Like that. The pilots did not know where Maui was. We were flying here from Tokyo. We got lost. The pilots were freaking out. Everybody's crying on the plane except me. All crying hysterically. It was horrible to watch. And I am completely calm, which is not exactly me. Usually I'm the wild guy. Calm. The Lord spoke like this to me. He said, all is well. So what happened? 300 miles away from Maui, the pilots did not know where Maui was. And every time I come here, I think about what happened to me. And they were talking to a Qantas airline, supposedly close by, and the Qantas pilot were flashing the red light on the back wing, but they couldn't say a thing. And finally, they were talking to the tower in Honolulu. And there were 2 men in the tower in Honolulu. And one was a Christian and the other was not. And the guy who was not a Christian gave some instructions to the pilots. Had they listened to him, I would be dead by now. But the Christian man said, turn on this AM channel in Honolulu that has the strongest signal on radio. Happened to be a Christian station in Honolulu. And the pilots picked up the signal of the radio station and came on that beam like the Japanese did in the Second World War. And we landed in Maui. And the second we landed, we were completely out of fuel. The pilot said to me, had we been 1 minute late, we would have crashed in the ocean. I could not believe how calm I was. I said to the entire plane, all is well. All is well. And they were freaking out. I don't know if you know my brother Henry, he's a little different. So he's crying on the plane, hysterically crying, and he's singing the song we just sang, I Sing Praises to Your Name, but he was singing it, I sing praises to your name. And I went over, I said, Henry, what are you doing? He said, I want to die singing. Oh my God. We had a man, a preacher, who was also in the Spirit, named Ralph Wilkerson. Ralph Wilkerson was sleeping. Everybody was crying except him and me. That's it. So I went over, I said, Ralph, you better wake up and pray. He said, leave me alone. Jesus slept in the midst of the storm. That's what he said to me. I said, oh my God, this guy is really in the Spirit. Leave me alone, Benny. Jesus slept in the midst of the storm. That's the Spirit's life. Are you getting the message? So, living in the Spirit is like Psalm 23, verse 4. Yea, though I walk through the valley, come on, of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Why? Thou art with me. David did not see the valley, he saw the Lord. Think about walking through that valley. Yea, though I walk, let's put it on. Oh, you got it already. Thank you. You deserve something good. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, that's a terrible place, terrifying place. But David didn't see it. He said, you're with me. He saw the Lord. Walking in the Spirit. Moses saw God. Joshua and Caleb saw God. David saw God. Isn't that beautiful? So, let's go to Hebrews 4, verse 2. It's all about faith. Living by faith is living in the Spirit. Where you know that you know that you know all is well. Like that Shunammite woman, her son was dead, she said, all is well. Did not even bother her. She went to Elisha, and her husband on the way said, is everything good? All is well. Now imagine saying all is well when your son just died. All is well. Did not change her message. Her faith was strong. And you know what happened, right? God raised her son from the dead.
How can you run when you don't know the way of the Spirit?